Hello everyone, Victor Tanzik here, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. Today's destination is r/MaliciousCompliance, so all aboard! My ex-husband and I had a great divorce. Even though he cheated on me after 12 years and we had 2 kids under 4, I really wanted to do things differently than my parents did when they got divorced. I never said anything negative about him and tried very hard to defend him when the kids said mean things. I extended invitations to his mistress so she wouldn't feel left out, and we became friends of sorts. She was basically their stepmom, so why not include her in everything? On holidays, we all had one big dinner. Him, her, myself, and my boyfriend. This made everyone feel comfortable, and the kids never had to choose sides. It was such a great relationship that when I had back surgery, I recovered at his house and she cooked for me. Our separation agreement was pretty good too. In exchange for not taking half of his retirement, he would give me a generous amount in child support and alimony. The child support would continue until the kids turned 18, with the alimony ending if and when I got remarried. He was able to afford this since he had a really good job. This arrangement, which was worked out with lawyers, went on for a few years until he had to move to another state. This was when things changed. By that time, he had married his mistress and went to live with her. He had also started a new job, which didn't pay nearly as much as his old one. In fact, he came to me to say he couldn't afford our current arrangement. He asked if he could pay less and he would make up the difference when he started earning more money. I didn't want to cause problems since the divorce had been so amicable, so I said yes. I then started keeping track of what he owed me each month in a spreadsheet. Over the next 10 years, he ended up owing me over $120,000. Then when our kids aged out, he contacted me to say he wasn't going to pay me anymore. He said I could take him to court if I wanted, but there was no fucking way you're getting another cent out of me. This completely blew my mind. We had had such a fantastic relationship, and this came out of nowhere. At first I was freaked out. Then I decided to follow his advice and take him to court. Thanks to the meticulous records I had kept, it was a slam dunk. The judge ordered my ex to pay me the full amount within 30 days. I was happy about this, but also sad because now my kids had to choose which parent they want to visit for the holidays. However, that's not my fault. I was willing to continue as is and not put any strain on the family. Edit 1. I got my money on day 29. No other payments will be made. Edit 2. I later found out his mother had actually been paying his child support for nearly 10 years. As soon as our kids aged out, maybe he thought he could get away with not paying me anything. Since our new agreement wasn't arranged through lawyers, he probably didn't think I'd be able to prove anything. I never did tell him about the spreadsheet. Edit 3. For those who are wondering, yes, he did cheat on his mistress twice before they got married, but she had quit her job when they got together because she found a sugar daddy. Since she had nothing to fall back on and nowhere to go, she stayed with him. She shared this info with me as I understood what she was going through, and I can't feel too sorry for her because of that. You screw around with a married person, you get what you deserve. And am I the only one who thinks OP was being an absolute doormat prior to taking the ex to court? I mean, you actually wanted to be friends with his mistress? Where's your self-respect? You should have absolutely gone scorched earth from the beginning. Kudos for trying to be the bigger person, but it clearly wasn't worth it. Or maybe it was. In the end, OP was able to make the ex pay, literally. So credit where credit's due. Well done. When I was 17, I started working at a family-owned cafe in our area. I knew some of its past employees, and they told me the owners were great for the most part, but I was warned about their oldest daughter, Karen, who helped run the place. An important thing to note is that I wear hearing aids. I'm not deaf, just hard of hearing. Many of my co-workers were interested about them. I explained they had Bluetooth capabilities, so I was able to play music through them. I never did, but I could. Karen had been in the room at the time and said, "You can't wear those, no earbud policy." I protested, saying they were hearing aids, not earbuds. She didn't care. She told me to take them out. Her reasoning was I didn't need them because I wasn't fully deaf. She thought I was trying to get around the no earbud policy since I just said I could play music through them. So I decided, okay, fine. You don't want me to wear them? Let's see how that goes. I took them out, put them in their carry case, and started my shift. I won't lie, it was pretty difficult. I couldn't understand my trainer, I couldn't hear the customers, I couldn't hear when orders were ready, a couple of warm pastries burnt since I wasn't able to hear the timers. Simple sentences had to be repeated multiple times with people basically yelling at me. I guess the cherry on top was me, quote-unquote, ignoring one of the owners when she tried speaking to me, and after attempting to address these issues with me, Karen realized what the problem was. By the end of that shift, I was able to wear my hearing aids, no questions asked. Oh boy, this was beautifully handled. Karen is a dimwit. They're not called hearing aids for nothing. Fuck you, Karen! I had a pretty lousy teacher for 8th grade social studies. To give you an idea of how bad she was, someone once asked her if she always wanted to be a teacher, and she answered no. One of the bigger projects we had involved us looking into recent events and writing 3-sentence summaries about them. There were no citations or sources needed. She just wanted to see how informed we were. So I wrote my summaries, turned them in, and thought nothing more of it. A few days later, she spent an entire class ranting about ethics and plagiarism. I figured someone had plagiarized one of their summaries, and now the teacher was admonishing all of us for it. This was confirmed when she asked everyone to close your eyes and raise your hand if you'd like another shot at the project. We all closed our eyes. I don't know if anyone raised their hand, but I didn't because I hadn't done anything wrong. So I was really surprised when she asked me to stay behind after class. Yeah, she thinks I plagiarized all my summaries. I told her I hadn't, but she reckoned I did because my writing was basically too good for an 8th grader. She thought I must have copied it from a newspaper or heard it from a TV reporter. This was pre-internet days. I didn't know how to respond. When I got home, my mum said she had an interesting phone call with my teacher. She was on my side though. She knew I hadn't copied anything or anyone. She had been with me when I wrote my summaries. She had also kept the newspapers I referenced. My teacher had given me until the end of the week to provide evidence I hadn't plagiarized. My mum was livid, but rather than say we had the proof right then and there, we came up with a better idea. Our local paper had this letters to the editor section. They would print anything that wasn't a complete rant or a conspiracy theory. I submitted a letter to the paper. The gist of it was the teachers at my school were downplaying the talents of their students. They didn't care about a child's potential. They just wanted to teach them enough to pass their exams. I didn't name my school or any teachers, which gave me some creative liberties. And in all reality, most of my classmates were only interested in getting good grades than becoming the next superstar in arts, sports, etc. 3 days later, I handed in my stack of source material after class. At the top of the pile sat a copy of the letter I sent in, as well as the newspaper page where it had been published. I stayed to make sure she read all of the clippings. After a very awkward pause, she quietly replaced my grade with an A. The rest of the school year was perfectly boring, and she continued to teach until she could afford to retire. I did hear later on she stopped doing this project. I can't imagine why. You know you have a bad teacher when they admit they don't want to be one. It sucks because it's always the students who suffer for it. I'm very glad OP got back at this one. And what a brilliant way to do it. My writing's too good? Let's see what the local newspaper thinks. Huh, I guess you're right. Thanks for making me realize that. Well done, OP. And with that, I'll end the video here. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.